Friends, how many of you are representing here the accredited lab? Raise your hands. Are you sure your lab is accredited? Think it over. Is your laboratory never gets accreditation? It's only methodology for that scope is accredited. Remember this. Why we are going in for accreditation? And Madam wanted to make it mandatory. If I make you a health minister, you will make accreditation mandatory. And there are only 6 accreditation bodies in India. We are all talking about NABL. I am one of the founders right from day one. I am there with them. I am with NABHS, one of the founders also. I tell you one thing. If accreditation is made mandatory, your lab will be the first lab to get suspended. All the exams in your laboratory are not accredited. Am I right? No, maybe 50-60% of the examination, that word test is not there. Please don't use that word test. Entire standard, international standard, the word test is not there. It's examination. You people in the laboratory examine the patient sample and release the report. Reliable, sensitive, specific, acceptable, repeatable, reproducible, dependable result you release. To whom? User. Who is the user? Clinician. And what does clinician do? Testing. Patient testing. Testing is the responsibility of the clinician. Examination of the patient sample is the responsibility of you people, laboratory people. Now, I don't know why we still use pre-analytical, analytical, post. We don't do any analysis. We only examine. Pre-examination, examination, post-examination. In the standard, it's pre-exam, exam and post-exam. These 2 corrections I wanted to make. Then, coming to number of laboratories, in Orissa, I am an advisor to Orissa. That's why I wanted Foundation for Quality India, Orissa. Somebody like you should take it up. To help everybody, including technologists. Coming to Orissa, you told me how many laboratories are there. 2,000 plus laboratories you mentioned. No, the accredited, so-called accredited testing laboratory, examining laboratories in India, as per one accreditation body, is around 2,050 or something like that. But do you know how many laboratories are there in India? Let us think as an Indian, how many laboratories are there? Do you have any idea? You will be shocked to know 3,75,000 laboratories. If all the 3,75,000 laboratories has to get all the examination accredited, like 2,000 rupees are banned one overnight, you know what will happen? The whole system will collapse. You can prepare food for 5 people at home. Suddenly, if I ask you to prepare for 50,000 people, where will you go? Then how to get this accreditation of examination methods? There are only 3 drivers. Driver 1, mere competition. In your area, if there are 20 labs, if 19 labs get all their methods accredited, then 20th lab cannot survive. They also has to go. The first driver is competition. One day, I took my mother when she was 94 years to the laboratory to get her blood sugar done. She said, why are you taking? I said, I want to get your blood sugar done. She said, I am not diabetic nor hypertensive. I said, Mama, once in a while I should get it checked. Oh, because that laboratory people, you know, they do it free. That's why you are taking me. I took her to the laboratory. The technologist came with a syringe and a needle to draw her blood. One question she asked, what are you doing? She said, Amma, I am drawing your blood. Why are you drawing your blood? Second question. Ladies will keep on asking question only at any age. The technician said, we want to do blood sugar. Is your blood sugar accredited? He said, no. Then in that case, I don't want this lab. She went on. That is public demand. If public demands, it will happen. How many of us have created public awareness that are you going in for a quality, doing right thing at right time for the right purpose? Have we done? We are within 4 walls between centrifuges and refrigerators, but we need to get out of the lab. Third driver, almost all of us pay out of pocket. Some of us, insurance agencies will cover. And insurance agencies will put a condition. If your examination is carried out by a laboratory which is accredited for that method, we will reimburse. That is the third driver. There are 3 drivers one has to follow. Where is it given? All these are given in the standard. Standard never uses the word accreditation anywhere. There is no usage of word accreditation in this standard. 15189. How many of you know the meaning of this 15189? Manisha will tell you. 15 is for medical group. Whether it's 15190, 15194, 15189, these are all medical standards by, what is that ISO? One of you tell me. What is that ISO? What is the meaning of ISO? Why everybody is silent? We are all using ISO standards, What is that ISO? It is not International Standard Organization, remember. It's not an acronym. It is international. ISO means similar. 2 labs following the same method for which accreditation is granted give similar result. Isosceles triangle, isomorphism, isotope. ISO means similar. In India, if 2,000 plus laboratories have accreditation for some of their examination, results of all these exams, whether you get it done here or there, you should get similar result. That is the meaning of that. This standard was developed by the group of technologists, not pathologists or biochemists. It was developed by technicians, technologists. Remember, they are the backbone, real backbone. Some of you use this word, backbone. Canadian technologists, with few people from Europe and US, developed this standard. Only in 2003, till that time, all the medical laboratories were considered as a testing laboratory, analyzing laboratory. We're using pre-analytical, analytical, post-analytical terminology. Then the standard was different. 17025. 17 is for testing and calibration. 0 is for generic. 25 is a guide. Guide 25 was the first guide which was developed by the committee called IEC, International Electrotechnical Commission, which was born in the year 1906, whereas ISO was born in 1946, 1 year before I was born. Therefore, you know my date of birth, year of birth. I tell you, this particular 15189 was released after almost, how many? It was released in the month of December 2003. But the gestation started right from December 1993. Means 10 years gestation. What a healthy baby, this 15189. This particular standard has undergone 4 times revision. Once in 2007, where certain verbal forms were introduced like may, shall, can and should, and then in 2012, after 5 years, where client became customer. Clients are only for court, for case purpose. It was called customer, and after that 10 years it took. In 2022, this standard was released. What is the difference between 2012 and 2022 is what I am going to tell you. Please remember, if you have 3,75,000 laboratories in India, when are we going to get all these laboratories to comply with the required standards for better patient care? It's a patient-centered standard. The word patient care, patient safety, patient needs, patient requirements appear in more than 62 times. The first clause here is about impartiality, and then confidentiality, and then comes patient safety, patient needs, patient comfort. This was not there in 2012. 12 version. Therefore, I will quickly tell you why this standard, why this change, what is next. All of you, whether you are industry, whether you are from accreditation body, regulatory body, statutory body, whether you are from small, medium or large laboratory, whether you are doing manual method or automated method, please remember accreditation can be granted to any method, manual method or automated method. WHO says even a laboratory doing sputum test in a remote village where electricity may not be required, even that method can be accredited. Everybody can be included. Only thing we have to create an awareness. Is it meant only for pathology, histopathology, cytopathology, chemical pathology? Is it meant for only biochemistry, clinical biochemistry, microbiology, serology, immunology, molecular genetics? No. This standard can be used for imaging, blood bank, transfusion medicine, medical physics. You read that introduction of this book, this standard, you will find that this standard is not limited to routinely recognized laboratories. This we have to be very clear, and the word test is not used anywhere except in one place for POCT testing. That is also getting changed in next version. It will be point of care monitoring, not no longer point of care testing, it will be point of care monitoring. And also throughout the standard, we in this edition, we come across the word risk. Risk is yet to happen, it has not happened. It's a proactive, it is yet to happen. Correct, the preventive measure is completely deleted. What is risk? Yet to happen to the patient. In 2012 version, only at 5 places the word risk appeared. But in 2022 version, it has appeared in 87 places. See the importance of this. Therefore, I will quickly take you through what is new. You see, what is accreditation after all? We talk about accreditation. What is it? Do you have structural requirements in your lab? Do you have a process requirement in your lab? Is there an outcome reliable, dependable, acceptable? What are the resources? Structural requirement is called resources. There are only 8 resources. 5 starts with M, manpower. Woman power is more powerful. I am using M because of manpower. Must be competent. Qualification, training and experience. And then management. They have to give you money, you know. They have to procure materials, you know. That's another big resource, biggest resource. Material must be of high quality. Not urine collected 1 week ago and coming today, and you can't accept it. That should be a quality, doing right thing, right purpose. And the mechanism, you are all sitting here, is your laboratory shut down? Somebody is doing, working. You have an alternate. How many are over? Manpower or human resources, management, material, mechanism and methodology. That methodology, whether to procure one staff to the lab or procuring one equipment to the lab or getting one examination method should be validated. All the method, whatever somebody gives you, they should validate. What is that you give to the clinician? Result. Therefore, what is that you should do? You should validate. That's what standard says. Validation is a responsibility of the manufacturer, service provider. But when you get validated methods and equipment, what you should do? Verify. Therefore, any method must be validated, verified. Then comes, after 5M, 2E. Oh, one more is there, manpower, material, method, management and mechanism. Okay. Then comes 2E, starting with environmental condition. Should be controlled, monitored, sustained, recorded, and then equipment must be calibrated with unbroken chain of calibration to National Physical Laboratory, which is called NMI. This is the requirement as per the standard. It is not talking about accreditation, it's talking about, if you see the title of the standard, medical laboratory requirements for only 2 things, quality and competence. Quality of all the resources, including humans, and competence of people who are using these resources. When I come to your laboratory as an assessor, I will only look at 2 things. How did you get this? How did you select this? Is this validated? Have you verified? Then are you competent? Who evaluated your competence? There's a laboratory director sitting here. Who evaluated the competence of laboratory director? Feedback from clinician, feedback from patients will validate or will evaluate competence of the topmost person in the laboratory. This process of maintaining quality and competence is not expensive. There is no money needed. What is needed? Awareness. Therefore, this standard is made so simple that you don't need much money. Foundation for Quality India has been conducting, Manisha must have conducted more than 500 classes. I think tomorrow you are taking one more session, I think. I tell you, if there are technologies who cannot afford to pay any money, they are treated free. The only organization which has trained more than 32,000 people across the country and more than 8,000 people outside the borders of country is Foundation for Quality India. Thanks to, where is our Elangovan? He was mentioning about, thank you dear. Now, if you look at medical laboratory requirements for quality and competence, see here, it is aligned with the mother document. It is not an independent document. It is aligned with mother document 17025, in which Manisha was trained. Isn't it? First training Tiwari gave is in, then you got it transferred to 15189. There is earlier there was a standard 22870 for point of care testing. No laboratory had purchased this nor used it, but they applied, they got accreditation for their point of care testing. Then this International Organization for Standardization realized, oh, nobody is concerned about POCT standard 22870. Then they said, let us bury this. In 2021, it was buried. Then what happened? Whatever content was there was merged with this 1518, 15189. This is one change. The other change is there's a lot of emphasis on risk management. The reason in US, for wrong report, several laboratories were shut down. They were asked to pay compensation which they could not pay. They sold everything and they had to pay compensation. Therefore, risk has to be managed. We cannot face the risk after it happens. Before it happens, we can manage it. That's another, risk management is another important thing. Therefore, there is an alignment between 17025 and 15189. This alignment is very important. I am going to Mongolia for an assessment of a laboratory in the month of October. That laboratory has prepared a quality manual, but they have prepared as per the requirement of 17025. They don't know about 15189. Then accreditation body called International Accreditation Services. I should tell you, there are 85 accreditation bodies in the world. All are independent of the government. They are all private, including NABL is private. It's not government. NABH is private, not government. But it's all under Quality Council of India, which is also an independent body, established by private sector. I was the principal advisor to Quality Council of India. And how many certification bodies are there? 185 certification bodies are there in the world. How many accreditation bodies? 85. These 85 accreditation bodies across the world are all reporting to only 6 regional bodies. That means, like your laboratory test examination method is accredited, accreditation body also is accredited by another standard 17011. That is the standard for accreditation body. For you it is 3 years, 2 days assessment. For accreditation body it is 5 days assessment. Then these regional bodies together, they have formed a body, international body, ILAC, International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation. Now, you, as per this standard, when you get your method, examination method accredited, you can release it on a report, examination report, where you can put your institution logo, your accreditation body symbol, if it is accredited by NABL symbol, and you can put ILAC logo. Please remember, don't forget, NABL is known only to people in India, whereas ILAC is known all over the world. Everybody will recognize. Then you become global, that means mutually recognized. Agreement is there between you and any other laboratory. This is very nicely highlighted in this. Therefore, don't forget, you have gold in you, diamond in you. Please look at it. That is ILAC. Use that ILAC logo for all those examinations for which you have accreditation. Now, I will not go through everything. I will not read. 2022 version or 2012 version, when you compare the standard, international standard, prepared by CASCO committee, where I am a member, it's like old wine in a new bottle. Whatever is there in 2022 was there in 2012. What has changed? Container has changed. Instead of drinking coffee in a porcelain cup, same coffee you are drinking in some other cup. Coffee is same, but containers are different. Container here is the standard version, but content is rearranged, reorganized because of uniformity, harmonization across the globe. It is not harmonization of examination between two labs, it is the harmonization of the standard across the globe so that everybody will say primary or secondary material means everybody knows that whole blood drawn from the anatomical tissue is primary. When they are segregated, separated, becomes secondary. This is how terminologies are also there. 32 terminologies, terms and definition in the standard. Okay. There is a committee called CASCO committee. What is that CASCO committee? What is the name of your laboratory? You have a separate name, Jharkhand laboratory, Ranchi laboratory, and AV laboratory and AG laboratory. They are different names, but all the laboratories are doing only one kind of work. What do? They conform after the assessment. They assess the sample, conform the result. Therefore, you belong to conformity assessment body, CAB, not that Ola, Uber, cab. All the laboratories are CAB, conformity assessment body. But this conformity assessment body, when they are using the standard 15189, that is prepared by a committee called CASCO committee. What is that CASCO committee? Conformity Assessment Committee. Where is this committee? It is part of ISO, International Organization for Standardization. The International Organization for Standardization, I tell you, now we have announced, we want people like you from this country to be a member there. You don't know, please go to ISO website and send your biodata. Who knows, you may become a member. And they will pay you $1,000 per day, plus your airfare for meetings, 5-star, 7-star hotel. Enjoy that. I'm an old man, it's enough for me. You youngsters should go and be representative in this CASCO committee. There are 3 committees in ISO. One committee is called CASCO committee. I'll tell you a little bit about CASCO committee. This is the CASCO committee. It has most important group called Technical Working Group. How many standards are there in ISO? 23,000 standards. One of them is the standard you are using. It is ISO 15189-2022. There are more than 23,000 standards. You don't worry about all that. Some of them, we need about 62 standards to understand this 15189. Now, this CASCO committee has 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. Most important group is called working group. The working group for medical is called Technical Committee 212, where I am a member now. Technical Committee 212, what it does, it has representatives from developing country, developed country, from Bureau of Indian Standards, from accreditation bodies. In India, there are 3 major accreditation bodies. NABL is a brand like Colgate toothpaste. Then QAI, Quality Accreditation Institute, which was it has taken birth about 3 years ago, very fast developing. And third one, there's another accreditation body in Mumbai. And these are the 3 accreditation bodies. Like earlier, we had only one coconut shop selling coconut, but today we have a number of coconut shops. Earlier, we had to buy whether it's rotten or not from that shop only, but today you have a chance. Suppose you are studying in one medical college. Your parents get shifted to some other city. You can transfer yourself from one medical college to another medical college. Similarly, If you are accredited by one accreditation body, if you are not happy, you can shift it to another accreditation body. Whatever the assessment report is there from one accreditation body is respected, accepted by another accreditation body. And today, I have two vegetable shops. In one shop, carrot half a kg 80 rupees. In the other shop, 1 kg 60 rupees. Accreditation bodies are like that. Their charges are different. In fact, one laboratory, after the assessment, very sincerely informed the accreditation body, sir, we have shifted our equipment from room number 2 to room number 5 on the second floor. Then they said, pay 60,000 rupees for us to come and verify. Then they called me, sir, they are asking 65. First of all, why did you do the foolish work of informing the accreditation body? No, sir, they say any change we should inform them. Look, use logic. When you shift one equipment from one room to another room, you need not report to anybody. But you must get it recalibrated so that your results are acceptable. Oh, that nobody told us. Sir, we thought next year when assessors come, they will say, why you have shifted the equipment? I said, which assessor will come? The assessors who came this time did not know. They don't remember where you have kept this equipment. Next year, new assessors will come. How the hell they will know? There are small foolish things we do because of lack of awareness, I tell you. Now, this technical committee will get inputs from that red part, from forum industry. Mindray can provide. I tell you, I request Mindray to be part of this, the pink colored group. You can provide inputs to accreditation body. I can help you. Now, that one, all the inputs from strategic alliance and regulatory group will come to working group. Working group will revise, design, develop, release. They don't release. They submit it to chairman policy and coordination group. This group will accept or reject. It will go back or come again after it is completely accepted. It goes to liaisons with other groups and finally it is released. CASCO committee is a very powerful committee. This committee realizes why should we repeat. I tell you 3 reasons why standards undergo revision. One is technology changes fast. Today we are talking about automation. Today Manisha has talked about automation in such great detail. Tomorrow we are going to talk about the artificial intelligence. We are talking about machine learning. We are going to see still thousands of laboratories will still working without electricity. Remember, eye meter tests are still going on. They take the samples, oh, blood sugar 120, eye meter test. Some of the point of care testing which has come is without electricity. And in Japan already they have inserted a chip inside the skin and the circulating analytes come in contact and it sends signal to the external device like your cell phone and that records and a message goes to the clinician or a pharmacy to change the treatment or the whatever it is. This is called laboratory is becoming miniaturized and it will be inserted in the body when the in a patient. Like we have insulin pumps, we have all these things are making the standard to undergo change. Information technology is another thing. Technology in the examination is another thing. That's why this is revised from time to time. Now, coming to main changes is risk-based thinking is applied in this new standard. Reduction in prescriptive requirement. We said it is a prescription standard. Prescription like doctor's prescription. But you develop a manual called quality manual which is descriptive. Earlier, every assessor used to show me your quality manual. Now, no assessor can ask for quality manual. Quality manual is not mandatory. Quality manual you can need not have. It's not a requirement. There's a greater flexibility than previous edition. For example, we had a test request form. Stupid terminology. We are not doing testing. Why called test request form? It should be examination request form. We were using sample collection area. Your receptionist will collect samples from the courier fellow. Is that the sample collection? It's a sample extraction. Rechange your sample collection room title into sample extraction room. You don't use the term, what is called test request form. Examination request form. The contents of the examination request form was very meticulously checked by assessors earlier. There is no need. Somebody can write on the back of the bus ticket, fasting blood glucose to this patient, you have to accept it. If you want more information, talk to them and get it. It's your responsibility. Training the nurses is your responsibility. You can't say we have nothing to do with them. This is what new standard is saying. This new standard, greater flexibility from the previous standard. There's a definition of a laboratory in this earlier standard. Now there was no term laboratory. Nobody defined. What is laboratory? It's a place where there is a quality resources handled by competent people to generate or validate some examination results. That is now added into this. And of course, these are all the verbal forms used in your standard. You know, how many times the word shall appears? Shall is mandatory requirement. Provided you are decided to use that standard. Use of standard is not mandatory. You may go in for accreditation. You may use the standard. If you are not accredited, nobody can hang you. No government can seal your laboratory. Accreditation is not mandatory. It's voluntary. Who should make it mandatory? Public. Educate public. Let them demand. Automatically you will go in for. Isn't it? Now, shall is mandatory. If there is a word shall in the standard, it's a mandatory requirement when you are following the standard. If you are not following the standard, nobody bothers about that. Should is a recommendation. It's only a recommendation. Many places it says you should use third party human matrix compatible controls when you are using internal quality control. I tell you, I was in the committee. There was an industry in that committee, CASCO committee. They were the only people who were supplying quality control with human matrix compatibility. And they said, laboratory shall use human matrix third party commercial controls. Then somebody said, are you promoting your business in this? Then they said, replace shall by should. It's left to them. If laboratory is not using third party human matrix compatible, no NC can be raised. And may, you may do this. May is with permission. You may come home late, but with permission. Mother tells the daughter. And finally, can. You can, why? You have RT-PCR now, you don't have COVID, but you can use that for other infectious materials. Can is possibility, capability. You can climb Mount Everest. You are capable. It's possible for you. These are the terms new in this standard. Very nicely described. And of course, in parent mother document, there's only under general requirement 4.1 and 4.2, but in 1518 and one more thing is it is 4.3, which was not there earlier. It is a patient's safety, patient right, patient needs. Beautifully explained. And you should probe into more and more information from the patient, from their attendants, from their treating clinicians, so that you can change the method, give better. Therefore, this standard is beautifully designed to get very relevant information for better service. That is the quality service. And of course, the structural and governance requirement is 5, resource requirement is 6, process requirement is 7, management system requirement, it is not quality management system. Management system requirement is 8. Earlier in 2012, there were 15 clauses under management requirement, 10 clauses under technical requirement, total 25 clauses. Any assessor going through all the 25 clauses was not happy unless he raised or she raised 1 NC under each class. Total minimum were 25 NC. Then management said, you find a better place, you are not fit to work in our laboratory. That fear was there amongst laboratory people on the days of assessment. This was realized by the International Organization for Standardization. They reduced it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clauses. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Therefore, even if there is 1 NC under each class, there will be only 5 NCs. This is the beauty of this standard. And of course, whom to approach for accreditation? Don't say NABL. There are, you say, accreditation body, which is accredited as per 17011. There are search for a good accreditation body, which is cheaper, economical. You can't be spending money. It's not your money, it's patient's money. Please remember, if you are attending this course, having a nice hotel, good dress, travel, don't thank your parents or God or your management. Don't thank even Mindray. You thank that unknown patient who is on the wheelchair. Thank that child which got admitted and parents paid 50,000 rupees advance and next day child died and that money is paid to you. It is the unknown patient who is supporting you. That unknown patient should not be taxed. For that, find out it is a quality material, quality accreditation body which is affordable. That's very important. And of course, there are particular requirements of medical laboratories, whether NABL, QAI, and many other accreditation. But you can select anyone. You can go to IIS, International Accreditation Services. You can go in for that. Friends, comparison between this document and there's another certification document called 9001 and 2015. It is a certification standard, talks only about the management system requirement. Yeah, all ISO standards are designed as per the requirement of this standard. If your laboratory is already ISO 9001 2015 certified, assessors will not look at class 8, remember. That means assessors will only look at technical requirement. And uniqueness, this document contains requirements for the medical laboratory to plan and implement action to address risk and opportunities. And rest of it I will not go through. I have put it on the, I have given it to Mindray. You can distribute this PowerPoint to everybody. It will be their property. What I would like to tell you, there are 5 new things added in this standard. 5 things which were already there are removed. Remember, 5 new things are added. 5 things are removed, making it simple. At the same time, this standard is made very friendly and anybody can understand. And when you read the standard, read in between lines and decode the standard, which we do in our course. I tell you, you are most welcome. I would like to associate with Mindray for conducting this training for 4 days for technicians without fees. Only medical doctors can pay because technicians, they don't get sufficient money. And at the same time, technicians are not given leave also. Online they can attend. Most of your problems are addressed here. And together we shall make it affordable and dependable and acceptable by everybody. Okay? Because you had given me only 20 minutes time. I would like to keep time for questions. And I would like you people to represent in that International Standard CASCO committee. Thank you very much.